Very good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all. So, today's agenda is to discuss the topic algorithmic trading using Python. So, as we all know, there is no better business than trading or investing in stock market because the amount of returns that you get, those are very huge in stock market provided you also maintain the risk appetite. So whatever is your risk profile, as per that you have to trade, and then you should go on adding the positions, so which is called as the position sizing. So there are many factors that are involved in becoming a successful trader, but once you master the art of trading or investing, then no other business can beat the returns that are generated in the stock market trading. Then why do most of the people are afraid? Why do they stay away from stock market? Because of the volatility that is there in the market, because of the fear and greed, the human emotions, which will keep the traders or the investors away from the stock market. The main disadvantage here is when their position starts giving them profit, they don't book it at regular intervals. They still wait for some more profits to come over. So with this, we call it as a greed factor. When the position is going against them, in that scenario also, they still do not wind up their position, hoping that it will again come to their buy or sell price and they will exit at no loss, no profit. Then how can one overcome these greed and fear, the human emotions, and how can one tame the market volatility? It is using the algorithmic trading. That can happen only by using the algorithmic trading. So what is algorithmic trading? By looking at the word trading, we know what it is talking about. Then the second word here is algorithmic. So algorithm itself means giving some set of instructions to the machine. Machine means your PC. So giving some set of instructions to the PC and using those instructions whenever the conditions are met, whenever the conditions are satisfied, the machine has to trade on your behalf. That is the algorithmic trading. But how would you design those set of instructions that you can give to your PC? First, you should generate certain buy and sell signals by taking the data. So for this, you will be needing the historical data. And this historical data, it must be divided into two parts. One is in sample data and out sample data. Means the buy and sell signals you should generate using one set of data, and those signals needs to be tested on another set of data. Let's say I have the historical data from 1995 to 2020 with me. Out of these years, I will take the data from 95 to 2005, which is roughly around 20 years of data. So from this 20 years of data, sorry, 10 years of data. So from this 10 years of data, I will first generate the buy and sell signals. Now, since I have generated the buy and sell signals on this data, this will be called as the in sample data now. And when you retest your buy and sell signals on the same data, it is going to give you good amount of returns only. It will show that if you have implemented these buy and sell signals on this data, definitely some good amount of return only would be the result. So what you should do is you should take some different set of data. So you can take from 2005 to 2020, which is 15 years of data. Now this becomes the out sample data. What is the advantage? the volatility which you see, that is different in different years. So what is the volatility? Change in the market conditions which brings a change in the price of any instrument. So if you see, recently we have heard the dialogue war between North Korea and USA, which impacted the market very much. Then we saw trade war between China and USA, that also brought changes in the stock price. And then now we are seeing the corona pandemic. So these situations are such that they would bring huge changes in instrument price. And that huge change is called as your volatility. Now here it can be a positive change or it can be a negative change. So mostly these all have brought the negative changes. And if any, during the result season, if you see, during the result season or during the budget session, when any sector is being highlighted upon, in those situations you see a positive change in the stock price, 5%, 10% within a single session. That is called as the volatility. And this volatility, it does not remain same every day. Day by day it keeps on changing. So during these 10 years of time, the volatility was different. And as and when new things, new news comes into the market, the volatility keeps changing and the instrument price also keeps changing. This is the major reason that we divide the data with us into two halves. One is in sample data, using which you generate the buy and sell signals, and now test it on out sample data so that we'll get a conclusion whether the buy and sell signal is able to generate the same returns in different set of years when the volatility conditions were also different. So this is the major reason we divide the data into in sample and out sample. Now, the process of testing your buy and sell signals on a historical data is called as the back testing. So you're generating buy and sell signals and you are testing them on the historical data to see how did it perform. Now in market, there is a principle saying that history repeats itself based on the Dow theory. So that history repeats itself, we want to use that principle. So we are backtesting our strategy on the historical data. Now, if it is not performing well, what we do? We'll be optimizing the strategy. So we'll tweak certain inputs to that strategy so that the output return is huge. So what all things should be in your favor? The number of opportunities that you get, that should be high. Risk is to reward, this should be high. So the risk that you put in, that should be very low and the reward should be very high. Then the Sharpe ratio, risk adjusted return. All these things should be high, only then your strategy qualifies to be implemented in the live market. So some also do the random testing. So they'll give random data to that. And even in those scenarios also, if it performs well, then only they'll be implementing that strategy in the live market. So these are the steps that are involved in backtesting. Now, along with this, professional traders, what do they do is position sizing. So they do not use the same amount of capital. They do not buy the same amount of shares in every trading. They size their position, means increasing the number of shares or decreasing the number of shares based on how the trade is reacting. So is the trade in their favor or is it going against them? So they'll start small. When the trade is going in their favor, they start increasing their position, so that when it is going in the opposite direction, they'll cut down their losses. The loss will be very small. And when it is going in their direction, if they increase the position size, and if it is about to reach the target, then they'll start aggressively building the positions and it will hit the target. So when the position is giving the profit, it will be huge. When the position is giving losses, it will be minute. This is your position sizing. So we started with what is algorithmic trading, just giving some set of instructions to the machine saying that whenever these conditions are met, you initiate buy and sell signals on my behalf. Why are we choosing the machine? Because it does not have any emotions, and you can train the machine to trade during any volatile condition. So in order to implement such buy and sell signal strategy, first of all, you have to test it on the historical data. So the process, the steps that are involved in testing that data is to first divide your data into in sample and out sample. And that is nothing but you choose the number of years for generating buy and sell signals. And when you are okay with those buy and sell signals, you'll then execute them, or you'll then test it on the other set of data. The reason being, volatility will not remain same in all the years. And these are the examples. For the negative changes in the price, these are the examples: result season and budget season. For the positive change, so volatility, no one can expect in the market. First of all, we see many traders in the market and they tend to give the direction of the stock. They say that stock is going to go here or stock is going to go here, which nobody can predict. What you can do is you can generate buy and sell signals, and when those conditions are met, try to cut down your losses and increase your profits. This is the only thing that you can do. When the position is in your favor, increase the size. When the position is going against you, decrease the size. So these all concepts, they come under money management and risk management, as well as the capital management. So backtest your strategy. If it isn't working well, you have to optimize so that it gives the good results. And then what should be the factors that should be looked in? The number of trading opportunities that you get over a period of year, that should be higher. So less than 100 trading opportunities, that trading strategy is of no use. So you have roughly around 250 trading days in a year, and if you get only 100 opportunities, so it cannot give you good return. Then the risk to reward, it should be a minimum of 1:5. Means you are risking 1 rupee to achieve 5 rupees of target. And then the risk adjusted return. So during the very volatile conditions also, it should cope up with the returns. And finally, the position sizing. This is all about testing your strategy on the historical data. But when you try to, let's say your strategy was good and you want to implement it in the live market. So in the live market, again, there are certain things like getting the live data. So you should have a code or a program which can manage or which can capture the live data either from the broker or from the exchange if you have subscribed to the exchange, or from the data vendor. So you should have a mechanism which should grab the live data, and you also need to have the order management system and the risk management system. So in this risk management system and order management system, some part is already managed by the broker itself. The part that you have to look is the position sizing, which I was talking earlier. So even in the live market also, you should take care of your positions based on the capital that you have in your trading account. How much would you want to assign to each trade? So in a day, let's say you have 1 lakh of capital in your trading account. Out of that, in a day, how much capital would you want to utilize, and to how many number of trades do you want to take on a single day? And for each trade, what is the maximum risk that you can bear and what is the maximum return that you are anticipating. These all things, they come under the RMS and OMS part. So the program that you have, it should manage the live data. It should check for the buy and sell signals, and it should also handle this RMS and OMS. Then only we can call that the strategy is successful or the algorithm that you have written is successful. So, okay, we are ready with everything, but how to write them? What is the programming language that we have to use? So there are several high level languages and low level languages, but out of them, how to choose a successful one? So you should use that language which has a very high third party API libraries. And one such language which we are hearing, which has become very famous since, so if you go to Stack Overflow and check the programming language trends, Python is the language which has a greatest amount of support today. So there are many developer communities throughout the world who are always connected using developer forums, and they keep on introducing new APIs which can reduce the amount of work that you have to do. So API support is very, very important. And then it should have a feature of high level and low level language. So easily communicate with the processor, at the same time achieve the complex objectives of your program. High level and low level language. Again, this feature Python already has it. Then you should be able to combine the programming language with the other programming languages. So it should be platform independent. So even if you compile this programming language on this machine, you should be able to execute that on the other machine also. So we call this as platform independent. So we are now discussing about why we should use Python as the programming language. Why should Python be our choice when we do algorithmic trading? So first is the high level and low level language. So Python has both the features. So they directly interact with the CPU. And high level language, so it has the object oriented principles also. OOPS concept, which we call it as. So in Python, actually everything is an object. Even if you declare a variable, that is also an object. It should be portable as well. So a program, it yields the same result on any computer. And what you need to have on the other machine also is the Python virtual machine. So that your Python program, it can run on any PC. And the embeddable. So we can insert your Python program into a C or C++ program. And it should be extensible also. So these are all the features of Python. The reason why we are depending upon Python. And if you see the Python programming language, it is as if you are reading a plain English sentence. So it is easy for any newbie to learn the language very easily and very fast. Not only this, it should also be able to interact with the database. So for interacting with the database, you should not depend upon any other platform. So from within your Python program itself, you have to contact with the database because you're dealing with the live market data here. So sometimes there would be a need to store this live market data onto your database. Now, nowadays we are hearing these terms: data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence. So you are training your program to various market conditions so that it can develop a strategy on its own, for which you will be taking the help of. So these are the basic building blocks, pandas and numpy. And then the visualization of the data with you, which you can do it using the matplotlib. So not a single feature, but Python has every feature which can help you in becoming either a data scientist. So you can go to that data analyzation field, or you can even go to this algorithmic trading field. So this is the advantage that you have if you choose the Python programming language. Now what I'll do is, so this is all the introduction which I wanted to give you. What is algorithmic trading? What is back testing? So these are all the steps involved in designing a successful strategy, and the programming language we are using, why we are using it. So now we'll write a program. We'll try to backtest one strategy, very simple one, moving average crossover strategy, and see how does it analyze the results and give you. So I already have the data with me, which is ACC, a cement stock. And now I'm going to write my strategy. So my strategy is already there in a file called backtest. And whatever functions I have there in this backtest Python file, I'll be using those files in my current working Python file. So first I'll import them. So from that particular Python file, import everything. And now write a strategy which can implement the buy and sell signals. The screen is already shared. Are you all not able to see this screen? You should be seeing my PyCharm screen where I'm typing the program. Yeah. So we are importing all the functions which I have already written in this backtest.py. And now I'm writing a class. So every class name should start with capital letter. So this is my child class, which will be implementing the, which I'm extending the parent class. Yes, this webinar is being recorded and I'll be uploading it on YouTube as well. We are using a static file as of now because this is off market hours. So first I'll maintain the parameters, and these parameters are nothing but the look back periods of the both moving averages that I'm going to use. So this is a tuple of tuples. So first is the fast moving average and its period is 50. And second is the slow moving average and its period is 200. After this, I'll maintain my own printing function, which is the log function. I'll show you on which channel you can access all this. So this is my printing function where I'll be taking a text as the input. So whatever text I pass on to this, that is going to get printed here. So dt is the date time here. So self.data, it contains the current closing price with it. And from that, the current data with this from the data frame. From this, I'm extracting the date time, because along with the price, I also want to print the date. So 0 always is the index, and 0 index means I'm referring to the current data. If I put -1, I'm referring to yesterday's data. So -2 means day before yesterday's data if you're on the current path. So here I want to print something, and that is nothing but the date as well as the price. And this will be printing in the ISO format. Then whenever there is an order, I should know in my terminal, in my run window, as to which order got executed, what was the price at which it got executed, what was the total cost, and what is the total commission. So commission as of now, we will not go to it. So whenever there is an order, please notify me. So notify the order. And when will the program notify me? When the order status changes, either to submitted or accepted. So if the order is submitted or accepted, there is nothing to do. Only if the order status is completed, because the order is submitted means it is still in the order book, and accepted means its status is still is pending. Only if the order status is completed means it got executed, then only I can get the price. So first check what is the order status. So if it is submitted or accepted, then do nothing, just return from there. If the order status is in this list, so this is called as membership operator. If this object is there in this object or not, please check it. This is the instruction that you are passing, and this is called as the membership operator. If it is there in order completed, then check whether it is a buy order or a sell order. If it is a buy order, then use your log functionality. Buy executed, what is the price at which it got executed? What is the total cost that is involved in this? This is nothing but price multiplied by the number of shares that you are buying or selling. Order executed price and order executed value. This will give you whatever you have. If the order is not buy, instead it is sell. Then self log the same thing here. Sell executed at certain price and the total cost. Or else If the amount that is there with you in your trading account, if it is not enough, so it will cancel the order, or it will say the margin is not enough and it will reject the order. So these are the other three status that are possible. So if the order dot status it is in order dot cancelled or order dot margin or order dot rejected, these are the other three possible status. In that case, print the same message. It is going to print the message to the console. That's it. Order cancelled or margin order or rejected. Now next thing, when the trade is closed, then you should also print what is the profit at the end of that. Whenever the trade was opened, then after some time it is closed, in that trade what is your profit or what is your loss, that also you should take a note of. So you will write notify trade. If this order is still open, then don't do anything. Then return back. If it is closed, then immediately print me what is the profit or loss. So you'll have a gross profit and net profit because you have to take out all the commissions that you have to pay, the brokerages that you have to pay, the stamp duties, etc. Because here we are not using any commissions as of now, both the values would be the same. So trade dot PNL, the profit and loss, and trade dot PNL commission. Now your strategy itself. This strategy should be such that it should run on every candle, because the moving averages, the 50 SMA and 200 SMA, you have different values for different candles. So your buy and sell logic should be checked on each and every candle. So there should be one such function which should run on each and every candle. And prior to that, you should declare what all indicators or what are candlestick patterns that you are going to use in your strategy. So for that, we'll have the constructor. So here first I am saying about the closing price of each candle. Then I'm initiating the order, the buy price, and the buy commission. Then declare the moving averages that you are going to use. Simple moving average. So to a simple moving average function, we'll first pass on the list of closing prices that we have, and then the look back period, which we have already declared, which is there inside are parameters tuple, these two. So we'll first utilize the fast moving average. I'm just referring to the member of that tuple. Then the second moving average is the slow moving average. And a variable which will check whether there is a crossover or cross under. So when the 50 crosses over 200 moving average, the value of this will be greater than 0. When the 50 crosses under the 200, the value of this would be less than 0. So I have the same function for both of them. I need not write one more function for cross under. I'll just compare this value whether if it is greater than 0 or less than 0. So these are the things I'll be requiring in my strategy. And now I should write my strategy itself, which should run on each candlestick. So at the end of each candlestick, it should check for the buy and sell signals. So whatever I write in my next block of function, that is going to get executed on each candle. So first check before initiating a new order, see if there is an active order. If there is an active order, then don't do anything. Just return back. If there is no active order, then check for the crossover condition if it is true. If it is greater than 0, 50 crossing over 200, then first print that a buy order is being created. At what price? At the current closing price. And initiate a buy order here and store that reference inside this order. If it is a cross under, so this would be less than 0. In that case, print that a sell order is being created. At what price? The same, at the current closing price. And initiate a sell order. Now, your strategy is ready. Give the data on which this strategy should be run. So say to it where your data is there. So my data is this acc.ns.csv, which I have downloaded from Yahoo Finance. So that I should give the path I should be able to give now. So first use the OS module and get the directory name, the current working directory name, and give the path. This is the folder, and join the folder with the file. And the file is acc.ns.csv file. From this CSV file, you have What amount of data do you have in this? Starting from 2004, you have the data until 2020. So it is up to you which data you want to utilize. So give a from date. It takes the date time. So date time is the library and this date time is the method inside that library. So it will convert the different arguments that you give into a date time which is understandable by the program. Yeah, thanks for pointing out. So it is 2004, 8th month and 16th date. And 2020, May 8th. With what cash you want to start it. So you can set that also. So let's say we have 1 crore with us. And now call the function that you have. So this is the major function which I have in my backtest.py, and this function is going to now tell me what is the starting portfolio value, which is nothing but this cash with which I am starting. Then it will execute the strategy, and at the end it will give me what is the ending portfolio value. It will also give me on which date the orders were initiated, whether that individual order it resulted into a profit or loss, and finally it will also plot the backtesting result to me. So to this I'm passing my strategy, then the data path, from date, to date, and the cache. So these things I'm passing on to the already existing backtest.py. Now let us execute this and see whether our strategy was profitable or not. So it will take some time depending upon your CPU and RAM, and it will decide how fast your program is going to run. So starting portfolio value is 1 crore. Now it will go back to each and every data that you have in the history, and it will execute this crossover and cross under strategy. It is saying that the starting portfolio value was 1 crore and the ending portfolio, it got decreased. It means the strategy is not so profitable. And you can see the output that is being plotted in the graphical format. So here you can see the buy and sell signals that are generated. So red arrow, which is pointing down, is when the sell condition got satisfied. The green arrow, the buy condition got satisfied. You can even zoom in and zoom out using this magnifying glass. So this uses matplotlib at the backend in the form of candlesticks. So it is plotting the chart in the form of candlesticks. So like this, you can backtest your strategy. You can see when the orders were placed. Now you can go back to any charting platform and see whether these buying and sell signals that were generated, they are correct or not. And at the end, you can also monitor whether the profit and loss that you got here, the price at which the executions have happened, are they all correct or not? So these all things you can cross check with the charting platform data as well. So like this, you can backtest your strategy on the historical data and then you can use it in the live environment. Now there are some other parts where you can optimize the strategy as well. So here we are fixing the input parameters as 50 and 200. Now you can optimize these parameters as well and see which combination of parameters you are getting the highest amount of profit. That is called as the optimization. And you can even use the candlesticks. You can use two more indicators with this, like combining the Bollinger Band and RSI, combining the moving averages and the candlestick pattern. So you can use two technical tools also to backtest your trading strategy. So this is what I wanted to share you in this webinar. And we are actually starting out rolling out a new batch of algorithmic trading using Python in the month of May, and it starts from 8th of May. So there we'll be discussing technical analysis concepts, option concepts, and as well as the Python. We'll also see all the tools that are required for data science. So you'll be interacting with the database, you'll getting the live data, you'll be storing it on your database. Then you'll be able to construct candlesticks out of it. From the raw data, you can convert that, or the second by second data which you receive, you can convert the data into candlesticks as well, like how all these brokerages do, Zerodha or Upstocks, etc. Then backtesting and all those things you'll be learning in the Python part itself. So please let me know if you all have any doubts. I'll be uploading this video onto YouTube as well, and I'll be leaving my number in the description box. So if at all you have any doubts or if you want to enroll into the course, you can directly contact me over WhatsApp.